Hi, this is Larry London. Welcome to Border Crossings. Today we are joined by a singer-songwriter who's been on the scene for a number of years, and she's got a new single, which is, it just came out, I believe, May 7th, What the Stars See. We'd like to welcome Cassadee Pope to the Voice of America. It is great to have you on the show. I've been a fan of yours ever since The Voice, and so congratulations on all the success.
Thank you. Thanks for sticking with me all these years. It's going to be 9 years in December.
Years. And I don't know how many different hair colors you've had over the years. I
don't either.
Black, it was blonde. Today it's a little auburn, a little reddish. You look beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, I like to switch it up. I get bored after about a year.
You grew up in Florida, and when you were in Florida, you knew right away music was your thing. And I guess you and some friends formed Blake. And,
yes.
So
that was my first band. That's my middle name.
That your coach ended up being Blake Shelton.
I know. Isn't it? It was written in the stars. I didn't know what to call the band. So I was like, we'll just call it my middle name, Blake. And then fast forward, on The Voice, I'm like, wait, this is so weird. My coach's name is Blake. This is so crazy.
Now, your original sound or your original style was rock. You weren't really a country artist when you started in music. So
I actually learned to sing on country music. So I actually sang country music all through my childhood. And then I did rock music in my preteen years when I was rebellious and wanted to be in bands. So a lot of people think Blake is why I went country, but all the songs I wrote down that I wanted to cover on The Voice were songs I used to cover or came up with on the spot. So country music's always been like a part of my roots. So it actually feels very authentic and natural to be blending country, my roots, and my pop rock influences right now. It feels really good.
Now, who's been your greatest influence and inspiration? Apart from Blake Shelton, assuming he's watching right now, but aside from him, who else have influenced to help shape Cassadee Pope?
Martina McBride was a big one for me. Just her voice in general, just how her approach to singing was just always about being like opening up and belting. And I've always just been a belter. I love to just let loose and wail. So she was somebody I always tried to sing like as a kid. And then of course, Mariah Carey was a big deal when I was like just starting to sing when I was like 4 years old. So I tried to mimic her, not well, obviously, but tried to mimic her. And she was a big inspiration as well.
Who was the first concert you saw? Do you remember the very first show?
I think it was Hanson. I'm almost positive. It was in West Palm Beach at the amphitheater there. And yeah, Bop for sure. It was my jam.
Yeah, I just saw them on Masked Singer. They put 3 of them in one costume.
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you might be in there next, right? I mean, is that,
I would love to. I would love, those costumes are amazing. And it just looks like so much fun.
It does. It does look like fun. Now, speaking of fun, we, in this business, haven't been having a whole lot of fun for the last year. It's been a difficult challenge. How have you been handling this challenge, which has kind of put up different kinds of barriers and obstacles to get over and around when you are in such a people business as entertainment, music, showbiz?
Yeah, I mean, we're like one of the last businesses to get back up and running. It was a jolt. It was definitely hard at first because of the fact that I had a lot of shows already booked for 2020. So I was really looking forward to, I was going to Japan and Australia and all these amazing places that I didn't get to go to. And that was a bummer, but I really just leaned into songwriting. I've always written, but I never really wrote from the perspective I had last year of just reflection and not having a ton of distractions. So I just did all of my songwriting on Zoom. Actually, the first Zoom session I ever did, I wrote my single, What the Stars See. So that was a really great launching pad for the rest of the year. But I also really leaned on social media. I was doing virtual meet and greets with my fans, doing Wine with Cass, these like little acoustic shows on my Instagram and Facebook every week, and just really trying to keep that engagement because I knew that everybody else was at home. And if there's a time that we all need to stay connected, it's when we are supposed to isolate from each other. So I really leaned into the virtual aspect of everything.
Mm-hmm. And this is an independent project, the new
single? It is. I have the Orchard is distributing it, which is amazing. They've been incredible helping me with that. But yeah, it's independent.
So yeah, I mean, it all came about to you, it doesn't feel like it came quickly because like I say, you were in high school in a band and then you were in another band after that. But along comes The Voice, you get a major contract and now you're doing it on your own terms independently. What's the difference in the Cassadee Pope who was with the major label under their control and now the Cassadee Pope who's able to do what she wants? Is there a difference?
Oh, definitely. I mean, obviously, there are huge perks of being on a label. I had amazing resources, and just the outreach was incredible. The politics, you get to be able to be in the politics of having the perks of that. But I also was 23 when I first came to town. Was on the label for about 5 years, and I'm 31 now. I have tons of therapy under my belt now, just lots of life experience to put things into perspective. That back when I was with the label, I don't know if I necessarily had the assertiveness that I have now, and the just overall trust in myself. So, just in general, my mental health is so much better now that I can come into a room and be like, this is what I'm doing, and I believe in it wholeheartedly. I don't care what the outcome is or the circumstances are. I want to do this, and just really going independent from a label, you do have to kind of unlearn some of the barriers, like, oh, I can't ask that artist to collaborate because they're on this competitor label, or they have this going on, and I just don't have any of those things holding me back now. So the collaboration aspect has been amazing. I didn't realize how much chasing a certain sound or like a country radio single affected my creativity, and just the songwriting has improved and just opened up for me. So overall, it's been a very positive change and transition. But if a label opportunity presented itself, I would definitely be open to it, but starting things off with a different dynamic of like, this is who I am, this is what I'm doing. If you want to be involved, amazing. If not, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing,
Cassadee Pope is doing what she's doing, and she's obviously doing it well. She won a CMA for Breakthrough Artist, and you have sold millions and millions of records, topped the charts. So obviously you're doing something right, and now you get to do it on your own terms. So we're going to ask you if you do a song for us. Would you sing something?
Yes, I would love to. I would love to do my current single, What the Stars See.
All right, great. So here is Cassadee Pope and her brand new single here on Border Crossings.
Are we really over? 'Cause I'm a couple glasses in, can't help but want a little bit of closure. Are you waiting by the phone? Are you out? Are you at home? 'Cause I can't stop picturing what you may or may not be doing. Wish my eyes could shine down on you. I wanna see what the stars see. Are you good or you sad? Are you missing me? Are you a little bit lonely? I wanna know what you're feeling underneath. Down the night, moonlight, heartbreak sky. Wishing I could read your mind. You left me in the dark, and wherever you are, I wanna be. Tonight I wanna see what the stars see. You're so lucky. They know exactly where you are, what you're feeling in your heart. And if you're sorry that you're not with me tonight, that you ever said goodbye, wanna see what the stars see. Are you good or you sad? Are you missing me? Are you a little bit lonely? I wanna know what you're feeling underneath. That midnight, moonlight, heartbreak sky. Wishing I could read your mind. You left me in the dark, and wherever you are, I wanna be. Tonight I wanna see what the stars see. Yeah, yeah. wanna see. I wanna see. Yeah.
Wow, that sounds great. What the Stars See. It's the brand new song from Cassadee Pope, who we're talking with today. And so you co-wrote that with some other well-known writers, some famous people.
Yeah, Jake Rose and Lindsay Rhymes, and that, like I said before, was the first Zoom session I ever did. So it was a concept I brought in where I was looking at the stars the night before the session, and like, God, their perspective is better than anybody's. They can see everything, and it reminded me of all the times I wished I could see what an ex was doing after a breakup, and oh, are they over me? Are they still crying over me? You know. And then I was in the studio with my producer and Karen Fairchild, who is helping produce everything as well. And she was like, this sounds like this could be a cool collaboration song. You know, if you want, I could sing on it. And I was like, oh, put it in writing. I want you to sing on this. Are you kidding me? And then the song is so guitar driven that I just had to have one of my best friends, Lindsay L, on it. So I've got Karen and Lindsay on the song, which feels really special and kind of a female empowerment moment without it being super obvious female empowerment lyric.
And for those who are tuning in and, you know, mentioned Karen Fairchild, she's from Little Big Town. She's done, you know, she did a duet with Bon Jovi. She's done a whole bunch of other, you know, collaborations. Are there other collaborations to come from Cassadee Pope in the near future? Now that you know, the gloves are off, the rules are open to whatever you want?
Yeah, totally. I'm in the middle of chatting with some people about collaborations right now. So there's definitely going to be some more features on the record, or one more feature on the record. But yeah, definitely. I love collaborating, and some cross-genre collaborations are in the works too, which would be really fun.
Can you let us into who you're talking to?
No, I can't, because it might not happen.
Just keep it between you and I and a few hundred million people. Well, I know that, you know, Kane Brown put out something, it was a hip hop mixtape he did, and it did well, you know, so, you know, people, Lil Nas and Billy Ray Cyrus, and, you know, there's been some country rap, is that part of what you might be considering, or maybe you do something totally different?
I would say it's more of a pop rock kind of approach, because that's kind of more of my influence. You know, I've come from the band world, and I've, you know, sang country as a kid, and then started doing band stuff and loved Blink-182 and all these different bands. So yeah, it would be more of that kind of approach than the hip hop approach, but I'm not opposed. I love Lil Nas, so getting to collaborate with him would be amazing.
Or maybe you could do something with Travis. Who knows? You never know.
Yeah.
What do
you never know.
So you talked about mental health issues. Okay, since you brought this up, I want to peel the onion back a little bit. You certainly look, you know, the perfect showbiz look, whatever that might be. So it's interesting, and I admire anybody who has got the platform that you have to let people inside and reveal a vulnerable side of themselves. And so what mental health, when you say mental health, what challenges would Cassadee Pope have faced? And maybe you can give advice to some of the younger people who look at you as a role model and say, you know, wow, she can do that, I can do that.
Yeah, I mean, the industry is so harsh on us. I mean, it is so hard to keep your head on straight. Even if you have a good family, even if you have good friends, you know, the industry can really get in your head about your self-worth. And I think it's never too early to go to therapy. I wish I had gone younger. It would have been really useful and helpful to have gone when I had people pulling me in all different directions, telling me, you know, you should do this, you shouldn't do that, wear this, don't wear that, you know, just really focusing on who I am as a person and practicing self-love. I don't think that there's ever a time too early to do that. So I would just tell any artist that's starting out to just really not lose sight of their mental health, because when I got healthy and I got my mental health in a good state, that's when good things started happening, and not necessarily the biggest things that have ever happened to me in my career, but that's when I felt the most fulfilled and the most authentic career has transpired, is after I've gotten my mental health in check.
And of course, everybody should have a copy of the book Body, which is in your shelf right behind you over your.
Yes.
Everybody needs to have that book. I got to get a copy soon before my body goes to waste. But when you're on the stage and you're being watched by tens of millions of people, as you were, you know, in 2012 on The Voice, And that's got to be, you are very vulnerable. I mean, you are you, and you don't know what's going to come out of these judges, these coaches' mouths,
Right.
you know, and there you are. So it's got to be a little unnerving.
It is. I mean, that was the scariest experience. And it was not to the point where like I wasn't, it was an amazing experience behind the scenes. Everybody was super kind and we were taken care of, and the producers and everybody were so great. But it was so nerve wracking to know millions of people were tuning in. And it just, I felt so exposed. And I was talking about some pretty personal issues that were going on in my life at the time. And it was really something that I wasn't prepared to share. But when you're sleep deprived and you're nervous and you've got producers being like, can you just let us in a little bit more? We really want to know your story. You just let it out. So like I talked about things that I can't believe I talked about on national television, but you just sort of lean into the experience. And I'm so glad I did, because people related and people found comfort in the things that I shared. And so when I sang these songs that really, I didn't write, but I felt like I wrote because it told my story, just made people get to know me better every week. So yeah, that experience was very vulnerable and a huge learning experience too.
What was the best advice you got on the show?
Honestly, it was more about observing. I saw the way Blake navigated just behind the scenes and in front of the camera, but more so behind the scenes. He just treated everybody so nicely and with respect. And he was the same person to the people behind the camera, to the people in front of the camera. He wasn't ever different. And I really admired that. He said hi to everybody in the room. He shook everybody's hand. There was just this very humble, very relatable thing that he exuded. So I just saw that and was like, I want to do that, and I want to have that for when I'm in his position someday. And even now, like I just try to, every room I'm in, you can get so distracted and just like get to work and just get it done. And I just try to take a second and just like acknowledge everybody in the room, because that's, you want to make everybody feel like human beings when you're around, not just people working. So yeah, I learned a lot from him.
And one of the songs you sang, I think, is "Over You," and that was you knocked it out of the park. Boy, did they love that! Adam Levine was just going crazy. So everybody,
Thank you.
you're really tremendously talented young lady, and you have such a bright future. What are you going to do for us next?
I am going to do a song called Take You Home. It's from my album Stages, and it was the first independent single I released after I left the label.
All right, here's Cassadee Pope, Take You Home on Border Crossings.
I just met you, been talking your ears off, but I wanna know everything, and I got all night long. Are you trying to be someone for someone? 'Cause you remind me of where I
And that is Take You Home from Stages. Now, Stages is an album you put out in 2019. That is your second album. So we're at about the time when another album should be coming out.
Yeah, it's
Odd that I should ask.
It's definitely being worked on. Like I said before, did a lot of writing in 2020, and there are so many songs that I've had to sift through and just, decide what the story is that I want to tell and what the kind of vibe of the project is going to be. And there's definitely going to be more of a rock lean, like as you hear in What the Stars See. And, Stages was such a monumental step in that direction. I had to do that album to fully embrace being independent and kind of find my footing. And now I feel like I've really found the lane I can fill in a very authentic way.
And you said that What the Stars See, you kind of got the idea for the song by actually just staring at the stars. So
Yeah.
what's the strangest motivation for a song that Cassadee Pope's ever gotten? Where's the strangest idea, the strangest place, most unusual place?
Probably this one time, I went to Liz Rose's house in Texas, and Emily Shackleton and I wrote at her house for like 3 days, and we were watching the news, and it was this very disturbing news story about there being some domestic sort of incest situation. And the woman was like, I wish I could just wash him off of me. And we just like wrote a song called Wash Away. And it was just, we were very like, we felt a little bad about like using that as an inspiration, but we also were like, I think this woman would be proud that her coming out with her story and being vulnerable would have transpired into a song. So that might have been like the weirdest, most disturbing influence we've ever had to write a song.
Now, do you have a favorite part of the business? Is it the writing? Is it the singing? Is it all the same? Do you prefer something over another part of it?
I think my favorite part is performing live with a great crowd. It doesn't have to be a huge crowd, just a great crowd, whether it's 10 people or 10,000. I've had both. And it doesn't matter, the energy in the room and just I feel like I'm the most myself on stage. Like it's not an alter ego situation for me. It's actually where I feel the most me. I'm the most confident and I feel the most at home. And just singing songs that I wrote even songs I didn't write that I just love, just feels so empowering. And to see people singing them back is just the coolest feeling. So I really miss that. Like that's been such a void in my life.
And when you talk about singing for large crowds, you have sung at NASCAR, you have sung at the NFL, the national anthem, which is always, I understand that I've never done it and I would never, ever try it, but I understand it's a delay and it's got to be remembering the lyrics in the moment and the echo.
Yeah, I know. I always have to put like either my in-ears in or like earplug or something just so I can hear myself more than the room. But I have been singing that song since I was probably like 10 years old. So just in Florida growing up. So the lyrics it's not what gets me.
Yeah.
It's not what gets me. It's when it's, live on TV and I'm like, ooh, I hope I don't crack or something. Nerve-wracking.
I imagine you've sung at Disney, you've been to Disney World many times. You live in Florida, so.
Yeah, I've actually never sung. Oh, I did a grad night at Disney World with my old band, and we played a show there. But other than that, I wasn't one of the princesses as much as I wanted to be. I never got that gig.
Which one?
I think my favorite was always Jasmine. I don't know. She always had this edginess to her, and
you want your magic carpet, is that it?
Yes, exactly. And those abs are pretty amazing.
Well, you are absolutely beautiful. So is acting something that you would consider or want to do, or?
I would consider it down the line when I feel like I can take a couple months off to do it. Because like if I'm going to do it, I really want to invest the time and the energy and get an acting coach and everything and really go for it. And to take time away from my music career now, it doesn't feel like the right time. But I would definitely be down to dabble in acting at some point. I love like in my music videos when I get a chance to act a little bit, and I'm a huge movie show buff. I love watching all of those things. And I actually really love kind of dissecting people's acting choices. So there's something there. There's definitely an interest there that I've not really leaned into yet, but I probably will someday.
And how different is the singer Cassadee Pope from the real person? Because a lot of people reinvent themselves, they have alter egos, they can do things as the performer that they wouldn't ever think of doing as the person.
Yeah, I think they're the same. I really think they're the same. They didn't used to be because, again, like just not having my mental health in check and just wanting people to see a different version of who I actually was. That's what I was doing. And now I've never had such a mirror image of myself in my music. I think the thing that's always been really important to me is for people to get to know me through my music, because I have no interest in like the celebrity part of things. And, like I was on The Voice, but like reality TV stuff freaks me out. Like I'm never going to be that into that kind of stuff. So my opportunity for people to get to know me is through music. So I just try and keep it authentic and real. And that's not to say it won't change. I mean, I'm going to be changing to the end of my life. So my music's going to change with that. But yeah, it's definitely just a reflection of who I actually am.
So it's a no-go for Celebrity Big Brother. Is that what I'm hearing then?
Definitely not. That sounds awful.
Cassadee
No,
Pope is our guest, and she has a new single out, and perhaps it's on the next album, I guess. That's the plan, is to put it on the next album, or just release it as a single? What happens?
It might be, yeah, another song and then an album
couple songs,
later on.
album, tour.
Yes.
You like to go around the world. I know you've been to London a few times, and you mentioned you were about to go to Japan when COVID hit. So now that we're nearing the end of the tunnel, the light is there. What's the plan forward for Cassadee Pope?
Definitely just continuing to release this new project a little bit at a time, and then the full thing eventually, maybe toward the end of the year. And I think a fall tour, a headlining fall tour is looking promising. So we're talking about doing that, but definitely more of a global approach next year. I with Hey Monday, we went to Japan and we went to New Zealand and Australia and all these amazing places, and I still have fans there that have stuck with me through the years. So I'm just desperate to get back over to all these places and really take this project that I'm going to be releasing over there as well, and just continuing to grow the fan base. And I just want to do this till I die. So
well, we're on in 100 countries right now, so you're growing your fan base, and a lot of your old fans hopefully are catching up and finding out what's going on. I know, Japan's a great market. Shinjuku is a great area for clubs and performances and stuff. I used to live there, so I know that it's
oh, cool.
It's a thriving area to perform in. But we're talking with Cassadee Pope. We got just enough time for one more song. What are you going to treat us with?
I'm going to go ahead and play you Wasting All These Tears, the first solo country single I ever released off The Voice.
All right. Well, here is Cassadee Pope. here is our guest, and we are talking about some new music. We just heard a song that goes back near the very beginning, and you came out on The Voice on TVs when you really became a superstar. And you came out at the time that One Direction was coming out, and a lot of people were getting discovered on reality TV at that time.
Yeah, it feels like kind of the new wave of artists all came from these TV shows. And I always looked at them like, God, that seems like the easy way, the easy route to get an automatic fan base. And then I did it and I was like, this is the hardest thing I've ever done. And I toured in a van through like the whole country with a bunch of boys. So I cut my teeth on the road for a long time. And then I did The Voice. I was like, no, this is another beast. This is difficult. Because every time you're on that stage, you just want to show people who you are, and you want them to take every opportunity you can to get the people to know who you are, because then they're going to invest and then they're going to vote. And then, it just continues on. So there's just a lot of calculating going on and just a lot of hard work and not a lot of sleep. And it was a tough road, but I'm glad I did it.
Well, it's interesting because I talked to some of the guys who were on the show with you, and they were saying, we got to ride in a van with Cassadee Pope. For the guys, they loved it. Now, I wanted to ask you, of course, love life, boyfriends, all that stuff. Do you write songs about your personal love life? Because that makes it hard to date Cassadee Pope, to think that, I might become a song one day.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a risk you got to take. But I will say the songs that I've written about my boyfriend are all very sweet and love songs. And yeah, I mean, it's the kind of, like, if you're going to date a songwriter, you kind of do have to expect either they write songs about you that they release, or they write songs about you with other people that they release. Like, it doesn't matter. You're going to end up in a song,
Do they ever call and say, hey, Cassadee, was that about me? Was that me?
No, I'm lucky. I can't believe that that even happens. Like, cause there's always a risk of, like, maybe it's not about you. So you don't want to, like, reach out and be presumptuous.
It's not about me?
Yeah. And you're like,
of all time. What?
That'd be embarrassing, right?
So I see some artwork on your hand there, on your arm.
Oh, yes.
Wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't notice it. What do you got? What's happening?
I have, they're all music related, except for this one is, one of my best friends passed away a few years ago, and he always wore a fedora. So I got a fedora with some flowers around it. This is a bird singing, and that was, the words, or the letters are BND for Believers Never Die. And that was a tour that, Hey Monday did with Fall Out Boy, where it was just like a world tour where we went to all those places I mentioned. This is for my great grandpa. When I was a kid, I'd call him Pappy, but when I was too young to pronounce it, I'd call him Happy. And I showcased for Columbia Records with my old band, Hey Monday, on his birthday, and we got signed. So I thought he was looking over us. And then this is just a bird singing. This was my first tattoo I ever got. So wow. I started big.
Are you going to do more?
Probably, yeah.
I hear it's addictive,
It's addictive. I was not planning on closing this up. There was this big space here, but I just, I had to honor my friend. But I was, my first, like, fur baby is my French bulldog. And so I'm probably going to get an outline of a little Frenchie head at some point somewhere. But also would love to get, like, the initials from my first solo #1, country radio #1, or any genre, really, if I get that, but
sure.
That too.
And of course you'll get, when you win a Grammy, you want the song title right here, it's
just on the neck. Yeah.
Right on the neck. Got to see it. Gotta show it. So where can people find you on social media that around the world, that they want to find your schedule? They want to know when you're coming out of that room that you're in, can we see you in person?
Yeah, when I'll emerge. CassadeePope.com is my website, and then Cassadee Pope with the little blue check mark on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all of that. It's all the same name. So it's, yeah. Yes. Don't be fooled by the people asking you for money. That is not me. That is a fake.
And of course, your spelling of your first name is unique.
Yes. Cassadee. It's different. So people have the fake Cassadee Pope accounts that are misspelled. So that's a good way to
well, that's not good. I mean, in a way it's flattering that people would want to pretend to be you, but probably fans anyway, but
exactly. Yeah. It's the ones that aren't fans that ask for money from my friends. Like, they're like, do you not know that we know that this isn't my friend? Like, this isn't Cassadee. I know that's my best friend. It's very bizarre. Very bizarre.
Thank you so much for joining us. And I'm so excited about the new single, which just came out not too long ago. Of course, you've got an album planned for the future, tour, birthday in August. You're going to be hopefully out of the house to celebrate.
We'll see. I'm happy just to be here and healthy, don't take it for granted.
The new single is called What the Stars See, and it is from Cassadee Pope, who is one of the brightest stars in the music business right now. And we love you. We love your music. Thank you so much for joining us. When you're in DC, come into our studios, please.
I would love that. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's wonderful to be able to talk to you. Like I say, I'm a fan. I've supported you for a long time. So love your music, love your sound. Thank you. Cassadee Pope is our guest, and this is Border Crossings. My name's Larry London. Thanks for watching.